On October 18, 1989, in West Branch, Iowa, Gerald Ford, the 38th President of the United States, shared history with students from across Iowa. The visit was part of a conference on the role of former presidents in American society, sponsored by the Herbert Hoover Library and Museum and the Gerald Ford Library and Museum. Here's how these students took advantage of a rare learning opportunity.
Mr. President, why did you pardon President Nixon?
I'm glad you asked that question. It's a good question. When I became president, there were many serious problems on my desk. For example, we had inflation of about 12%. We had interest rate of about 12% or higher. We were on the brink of the most serious economic recession in the post-World War II period. We had our allies who were uncertain and our enemies who we thought might be aggressive. We had a whole long list of serious domestic and foreign policy problems. And so in the first month, I was working very, very hard to get programs to solve those problems. At the same time, I was getting advice from the lawyers, from the Department of Justice, and my own staff in the White House, what I should do with Mr. Nixon's papers, what I should do with the tapes that he took in the White House. The net result was I was spending 25% of my time on the problems of one man at a time when I should have been spending 100% of my time on the problems of 240 million Americans. So when you put it in that context, the only way for me to get rid of the problems of one man and to concentrate all of my efforts on behalf of our economic problems, our foreign policy problems, was to pardon Mr. Nixon. So for the benefit of the country as a whole, I pardoned him, and from then on I had no obligation except to work on how we could get interest rates down, how we could get more jobs, how we could solve the recession, how I could negotiate with Mr. Brezhnev, how I could work with our allies. So if you'd put it in that context, it was absolutely the right decision, and in the passing of time, I'm more convinced now than I was then it was the right thing to do.